Welcome to Read in Minutes. Here's a short summary of the book, Influence: The Psychology of Persuasion by Robert Cialdini. If you enjoy it, then please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Now let's get started. In Influence: The Psychology of Persuasion, Robert Cialdini, a renowned psychologist and professor, offers a masterful exploration of the invisible strings that guide our decision-making. Through decades of research and hands-on observation, what he calls a participant-observer approach, Cialdini immerses himself in the trenches of persuasion, from sales floors and telemarketing offices to recruitment drives and charity fundraisers. His goal: to understand why people say yes, often against their better judgment, and how those responses can be predicted and influenced by deeply embedded psychological principles. Cialdini identifies 6 core principles of persuasion that are universal, powerful, and often automatic in their operation: reciprocity, commitment and consistency, social proof, liking, authority, and scarcity. Each principle reveals something profound about how the human mind makes decisions, and each can be used either ethically to communicate value or manipulatively to exploit vulnerability. 1. Reciprocity: the unwritten rule of obligation. The rule of reciprocity is simple. If someone does something for you, you feel obligated to return the favor. This is more than cultural. It's deeply rooted in our social evolution. Societies thrive when members help each other, and the reciprocity norm ensures cooperation. But this principle can be hijacked. Cialdini illustrates how organizations like the Hare Krishnas in the 1970s handed out small, often unwanted gifts like a flower to passers-by, knowing many would feel compelled to donate in return. Even in modern marketing, we see this in action. Free samples, bonus content, or trial offers aren't just goodwill. They're carefully calculated to trigger the internal debt we feel when receiving something free. The irony? Even when we know we're being manipulated, we still comply, because the urge to reciprocate runs deeper than logic. 2. Commitment and consistency: the pull of staying true to ourselves. Once we make a commitment, especially publicly, we feel pressure to act in a way that aligns with it. Cialdini shows how small initial agreements, like putting a tiny sticker in your window, can lead people to agree to much larger requests later, such as placing a giant billboard in their yard. This phenomenon is rooted in our desire to be seen as consistent, a trait associated with reliability, intelligence, and honesty. But this desire can also trap us. Once someone sees themselves as a loyal customer, environmentalist, or team player, they may find it hard to act contrary to that identity, even if circumstances change. This principle is routinely used in sales, political campaigns, and even romantic relationships. By locking people into a narrative about themselves, persuaders subtly guide their future choices. 3. Social proof: the herd instinct in human nature. Humans are social creatures, and we often decide what's right by looking at what others are doing, especially when we're uncertain. Cialdini explores this with compelling stories. Hotel guests who reuse towels more often when told that most guests do the same, or shoppers who follow crowds into stores assuming something special must be happening. Social proof is why reviews and testimonials are so effective. why influencers hold immense power, and why trends can catch fire overnight. It explains viral videos, panic buying, and even moral panics. When unsure, we default to the wisdom or folly of the crowd. But therein lies the danger. If the crowd is wrong, we still follow. The principle doesn't care about truth, only consensus. 4. Liking, the power of personal connection. We are more likely to be persuaded by people we like. And what makes us like someone? According to Cialdini, it's a combination of attractiveness, similarity, flattery, familiarity, and positive association. We prefer people who mirror our values, who compliment us, even insincerely, and who simply make us feel good. Salespeople, con artists, and political candidates all exploit this. From the smooth-talking neighbor selling insurance to the relatable celebrity endorsing a product, liking is a lubricant for persuasion. Even mundane things like sharing a birthday or hometown can increase your odds of being liked, and thus being persuasive. Importantly, Cialdini doesn't suggest we should become manipulative charmers. Instead, he urges awareness. When we're making a decision, are we evaluating the facts, or are we just reacting to how much we like the messenger? 5. Authority, obedience to the badge. Humans have a natural tendency to obey authority figures. This isn't just about uniforms or titles, it's about perceived credibility. Cialdini references the famous Milgram experiments, where average people administered what they believed were lethal shocks to strangers simply because an authoritative figure in a lab coat told them to. In everyday life, authority cues can be subtle: a doctor's coat, a business suit, or a wall full of degrees. Advertisers exploit this with fake experts, and online content creators lean into authority by showcasing credentials or elite associations. Our obedience to authority can be helpful, especially when the authority is legitimate, but dangerous when it silences critical thought. 6. Scarcity, the fear of missing out. Scarcity taps into one of the most primal fears we have: missing out. If something is rare or disappearing, we assign it greater value. Limited time offers, only 3 seats left, or exclusive drops are all attempts to create urgency by invoking scarcity. Cialdini explains that the principle becomes especially potent when scarcity is combined with competition. If others want it, we want it even more. This is how auction fever sets in, how airline prices rise with each search, and why some products sell out minutes after release. Scarcity doesn't just drive desire, it shuts down rational thinking, replacing it with panic and impulsivity. Beyond the principles, ethics, awareness, and protection. What makes influence more than just a how-to manual for marketers is Cialdini's insistence on ethics. He warns readers not only about how others may manipulate them, but also how they themselves might misuse these principles. It's a call for integrity. Persuasion can be ethical, grounded in mutual benefit and transparency. But when used deceptively, it crosses into manipulation. Cialdini arms readers with tools for resistance. He explains how to recognize each principle in action and how to slow down and regain control. If you're offered a gift, ask, was it genuinely meant to help, or is it a hook? If you feel rushed by scarcity, stop and ask, Do I want this for its value, or just because it might be gone? Since its release, Influence has become a foundational book for marketing professionals, psychologists, negotiators, and everyday readers who want to better understand how the world shapes their choices. Cialdini's writing is engaging, often humorous, and always grounded in real-world examples. The book feels less like a lecture and more like a conversation with a savvy mentor who's trying to help you navigate a world full of persuasion traps. In a society increasingly driven by algorithms, ads, and information overload, Influence is more relevant than ever. It teaches you not only how to be more persuasive, but how to defend your freedom of choice in a world that's constantly trying to take it away.